in the market, of course, like always, because if you know how to trade, you have those skills, anything that's going on could be a good opportunity. So we're going to jump right in, guys. I see E. Watts on with us today. Thank you for getting in. A couple tickers nice and early. Guys, yeah, now's a great time to go ahead and get your tickers in, get the questions you want answered, any stocks that you want to look at. And I love that, Watts here. It's got some not just a ticker, but has some detail on a specific trade. So we're going to be looking at that one first, right after we take a look at the overall market. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Here we go. Let me get a quick refresh so we can get the latest information coming through here. So remember last week, I mentioned several different bear patterns that I was seeing in play, right? One of them was this head and shoulders, kind of an ugly head and shoulders, like, kind of like one of those right there. But still, you kind of have this little head, little shoulder, bigger head, and then a bigger shoulder here. And it did fall down from there. And then I also mentioned a potential kiss goodbye. It had not completely formed yet, but it did end up doing that. It moved up the next day. I believe this was Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, this was Friday. Opened up perfectly at this line and fell right down from there. We got down below the 5 EMA and have still been below the 5 EMA since then. Now, interesting thing here, we've been running into now the 200 simple. That's the white dash line here. That 200 simple is an important line to watch. Both if you're breaking out from a downtrend and starting to move up, you can run into some resistance on that 200 simple when you hit that. And the other way around too. If you're breaking down from an uptrend and moving down, you can run into some support on that 200 simple. So that's what we found on Tuesday. It kind of caught it Wednesday, so yesterday as well. It's a little bit above it actually. Today still haven't broken down below that. So we could be in for just a little bit of sideways movement. We may even start to move up a little bit, right? There's nothing that says we can't just start moving up a little bit, maybe come retest this downtrending line. Now, last week I had another line up here. I was toying with this potential downtrending support line, but then we broke through it. So I got it off my chart at the moment. We'll see if that comes into play. This could potentially just be an anomaly, but so not convinced on that support line, but so far this resistance line, we're going to leave that there. Another thing I wanted to mention, kind of interesting, you guys have probably noticed this before too. For whatever reason, the market in the last little bit has been pivoting around the 100-point increments, right? What do I mean by that? Well, let's look at this line I've got right here. That's a little bit higher. 4,300. 4,300 has been in the past some pivot points. You can see right about there. It'll come all the way across to there. Actually, I need to go back farther. Sorry about that, guys. So there you go. There's a nice pivot point at 4,300. Coming back here to the very front as well, 4,300 as well. Let me zoom back in. Let's look at 4,400. What has that done recently? Well, that's where the market ended on this particular down day and then gapped down from there. 4,500 was also pivotal, right? Had in the 4,500 area, a couple times of resistance there. 4,600 is what caught this bullish rally here and was what turned us down. Now we're approaching 4,200 here, which has been some resistance in the past and potentially some support now, also coinciding with the 200 simple. So many things going on, right? Many things going on here. Jose, I see your question. Yes, we are live. Yep, this is live. So, yep. Anyway, I just found that to be interesting because then it kind of brings the question up. Okay, let's say we break down later on from here. Where are we going to go? Well, I would imagine maybe 4,100. We see some more hesitation. Maybe hold there and then move down some more. Just something to keep in mind because that's been happening at those 100-point increments. All right, guys. So you guys got some good ones loaded up in the chat. So good work on that. We're going to just jump right in now. AMD, let's take a look. All right. Watts says, excited to hear this market is giving me a headache. AMD put with a strike at 110. All right, AMD. And first thing I see, I like this downtrend here. This line's been pretty solid. I'll pull it out a little bit here, cleaning up just a hair there. There we go. And you're saying a put at 110. So it's in the money. So that's good. I'm not sure what your expiration is. But that's okay if it's 2-3 months out. That's kind of the sweet spot there. Keep an eye on earnings about a month from now, but that should be no problem. The only thing I'm going to say that you got to watch out for, and this goes back to what we just talked about too, that 200 simple moving average. You see that coming in here, and that caught this downtrend. In fact, if we go ahead and we clone this line, we can probably find a bit of a support line. I would say that's pretty close to a support line right there. And on this move down, it didn't even make it quite down to that downtrending support line because the 200 simple caught it, right? 200 simple caught it and then pushed it back up. Now we might be falling again off of this resistance line. So you can get into a put here. It may be a quicker one because that 200 might cause you some problem again, some problems. But once you break that 200 simple, if it does break it, I imagine it should. Then you could be looking at some free falling back down to this downtrending support line. Let's zoom out a little bit, see if there's anything else that we're missing here of big significance. Nothing huge that I'm seeing here. So I like AMD for the put. It's a nice downtrend, but just watch that 200 simple. That could cause some hesitation there. All right. Also want to take a look here at ABBV for a possible call. Okay, you're probably recognizing, let's get some lines on here, somewhat of a rolling action. We'll go right about there. So that gap line, resistance, resistance, resistance. And then if we clone that line, let's drag it down, throw it down here, right about there. Some of you might want that up a little bit. Actually, I like where that is though, because that was some support here and then some resistance right in there. Broke through, but then support, support, support. And you're seeing that clear candle and potential move up. And earlier today, that would have been another clear candle up there. And we would have thought, maybe we missed it. But potentially another opportunity coming about. Yet, I'm not a huge fan of buying a call option on this candle. Right? What do we call that? An inverted hammer or something like that. That type of a candle is pretty bearish. Now, if we see another clear candle tomorrow, yeah, we could consider this one for a call. But just like I mentioned as earnings before, check out earnings here. This is going to be 3 weeks from now. So doesn't mean you can't go ahead and get into that call option, with the expiration 3-4 months out, but we want to make sure we're out before earnings, right? That's kind of a must there. So with that being said, let's see if we can maybe produce another entry because I'm not a huge fan of buying on that candle. But a decent pattern you found there, so good work there. All right, TDW. Tidewater, looking at, and there's no information on here, so we'll just kind of go with what we are seeing here. I do have an uptrend here. Let's see if I can get a line. I might bring that up to start at this other candle. That's probably going to be more accurate. So that could work right there. I don't know if we're going to get a great resistance line on there. Yeah. And honestly, oops, let me delete that. I kind of wonder with this breaking down below the 50 here, should the pattern have been something more like that? because then if we clone it, see how that resistance line looks pretty nice? Those lines right there I just put on, I like better than that other support line that I had drawn to force it to fit here. And when I look at this, I see a nice uptrend that was broken confidently yesterday. And it actually came down close below the 50-day too, right? And then what is today's candle looking like? Well, I mean, it could be a little kiss goodbye off the 50-day. It hasn't broken the 50-day yet, you know? So I would be very hesitant to do anything bullish on this. I'd be hesitant to do anything bearish on this because it's just not there yet, you know? What's the bearish pattern we're seeing? There isn't one yet. You know, we got to wait for that, right? I don't want to guess at it. So I'd hold off on TDW before doing anything. All right, Joseph's asking, can we look at the energy sector? Just what do you see? Okay, yeah. Let's take a look here. So my favorite way of doing that, I'm just going to come to the market page. It'll be the first page that loads up when you're in Charts by Tradeway. And let's look at the last, well, we can look at the last month here, or even last week. Energy has been down quite a bit, right? And from here, I like to maybe go into the heat map. You can look at the last week again. And where did energy go? We do a quick refresh. Man, I'm just not seeing it. What is going on here? So, oh, there it is. Okay, it's kind of hiding from you. There we go. So I think I got something messed up on filters. I'm gonna have to look into that, but we'll go back to the market here. Looking at the sector chart, you can see energy's been down quite a bit, right? Now we can just kind of off the top of our heads pull out a few tickers to look at. MRO, you can see what started to move up again, got pretty ugly the last few days, right? Oxy, that's another one we can look at. Same thing, pretty ugly last few days. Chevron, CVX, not as bad, but still, you know, came down a fair amount. See, I feel like CVX is a pretty docile one for most of the energy tickers out there. This one also came down a fair bit, though. So, you know, you're going to see, let's look at one more, DVN. You're going to see a lot of the same type of thing. DVN started coming down even before the last few days. So there you have it. Energy, you know, I feel like they can be volatile. They can move up quite a bit and then they start to move down pretty rapidly. So, you know, if you catch at the right time, it can be very profitable. And if you catch the down move at the right time, it can be very profitable. But there you go. There's some energy ones to look at as well. All right. Wow, you guys have loaded them up. Good work on that. Okay, I'm going to fly through them and see if I can get through them. So let's take a look here. ADI for potential call. Nope. I'm just going to, yeah, that's a real quick answer right there. Sorry, where's the uptrend, right? Not seeing an uptrend. So that's a nope on a call right there. If it pulls back up and then fails at the 20-day, maybe a potential put or some other kind of bear strategy. But nope, not doing a call on that one. Yep. Watts is asking, energy's been hit hard. Why? I'm not entirely sure why, but you know, you say I would think it would go up if a recession is coming. You know, maybe not. I wouldn't necessarily say that because energy is going up, that or because a recession is coming that energy is going up. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but energy is a pretty big player, right? And with energy having come down quite a bit, that has helped pull the market down as well. As we saw before, you know, the market even came down below that support line that I had, right? So yeah, those are thoughts on energy, but I don't know specifically why energy has been down that much. VLO, that was one that you wanted to take a look at as well. Look at that, another energy company, same kind of thing, right? Just dropping like a rock. Actually, that one was starting to put in some nice uptrending action, but then, you know, this week this week just terrible, right? So that makes it tough. All right. Almost looking like a call. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you had gotten in on a call on this day right here, yeah, I could see, man, that could work out. But then the next day, you don't like that day, and then by that next day, it's definitely gonna stop out. This happens. This is why we stop out. We never want to see get into a call on this day right here. This would be last Friday, I think, and then still be in, or maybe that's Thursday. We don't want to be in a call on that day and still be in it today. If we do that, that call is absolutely worthless, right? It's absolutely worthless. So that's why we have our stop outs. All right, UNG. So I want to take a look at UNG October 20th. All right, so let me zoom in on this. All right, you're thinking put at 650. All right. So I wouldn't buy a put at 650 at this point, right? I mean, it's moved up here. This is not a downtrending stock. So I wouldn't buy a put at 650. It's out of the money and it's a shorter time frame as well, right? October 20th is the expiration. But this kind of brings up an interesting point, Benjamin, because what else can you do with a put? You can sell a put, right? And we know about that as a bull put spread, but you can also do a naked put or a cash secured put, right? So I would look at this and go, well, I mean, if the stock came down to 650, would I be willing to buy it? Right? So if I looked at this, and I'm not sure if we'd get any credit in it right now if we were to sell, like there might not be much premium after this move up today. Yesterday we might have had some premium, but if we just look at, pretend yesterday's candle wasn't there, we're just looking at, pretend today's candle's not there, and we're just looking at yesterday. If we were to sell that naked put and be okay with having the shares put to us at $6.50, right? Then we could bring in premium. And if that if that stock comes down, we might have the stock put to us, hopefully at a good time for it to just start bouncing up again, right? This could be an interesting way to get paid to buy a stock at a discount. And then from there, what do you do with that stock? Well, there's several things you could do, right? You could just hold on to it and sell it later, kind of like a step one trade. You could hold on to it and then sell a call against it. Many different things that we can do there. But so when we're looking at this shorter term put with this pattern, Benjamin, my question is, are we trying to buy the put? I'm not a huge fan of that. Oh, are we trying to sell the put? That could be very creative, right? That could be very creative. So great question on that. Great question on that. All right, perfect. Jose wants to take a look at PLTR. PLTR, here we go. All right, and looking at it for a down play. All right, let me get rid of this. That line is no longer in play there. So my question to you would be, what is the pattern you're seeing? If you're seeing maybe, actually, let me pull that further out. About there. I'm going to clone that line. I can pull that a little further out there. There we go. So you're seeing some, those lines could work out pretty well right there. Maybe some rolling action coming here, and then starting to move down from that resistance. Okay, we've moved down a little bit from that resistance already. I think the better buy point might have been this day, or that day was another opportunity. By this time it was gone. It's already started to move up a little bit. And so maybe if it comes back up and then fails again at resistance, I could consider that for a down play. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad one to look at there. But it's already moved down a fair bit when we're talking about straight options. And you just said down play, so this may not even be a straight put you're looking at, right? We could look at this and say, hey, could we maybe sell a bear call, right? That would actually be really interesting. Right now, let's look at that real quick here. Can we get a decent bear call with the $17 strike? We're going to go, oh, I didn't look at earnings. When is that? November 6th. Okay, let's see here. November 6th. Let's see if we can go out to November 3rd. The liquidity was good. Sell the 17. Oh, yeah, look at that. Open interest is good. Bid-ask spread is good. Let's do 17 by 18. You can make $21 off of 79-cent or $79 risk, right? So let's draw this out. 17 by 18 with November 3rd. That would be our bear call. Now, I mentioned I'm not a huge fan of a straight put right now because of where it is in the pattern. It's already moved down some. But could I get on board with that? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, we're gonna go ahead and try and just place a paper trade on this right here. I'm in my Tradeway paper trading account. Got those strikes in there. We're going to sell the 17, buy the 18 call, and review, submit, continue. There we go. So it's live right now. I'm going to let that sit there and just kind of work. It'll be live for the rest of the day. So that would be nice if that does go ahead and execute. That's a pretty decent trade looking there. Now, again, what is our plan? Whenever we get into a trade, we need to have a plan. I like to just get out if it breaches the short strike, right? So if it breaches the short strike, $17, boom, I'm punching out. I'm not going to hang around, right? And so what's my plan for profit? You know, once it does execute, I can then set up a good till cancel order, 50% of max profit. That's what I might like to do. All right, good one there. TSM. And I got to apologize, guys. I am not sure I'm going to get to all your tickers this time around. But I love the interaction. TSM, okay, great. I like this one for a put. It hasn't quite made it to this downtrending resistance line. Not saying that this line's at a perfect point, although it is pulling back slightly from the 20-day. So you could work on that or could make that work 2 weeks from expiration, but puts generally tend to move faster. So TSM, that's a decent candidate for a put right there. You're thinking maybe debit spread or put. Yep, Ed, I like it. Either one of those could work well there. Just have a good plan to manage it either way, right? We already looked at TDW. Jose wants to look at a bull call spread. Oh, this might have been on a previous one. Jose, PL. I'm not seeing, Jose, which one you're talking about there on your bull call spread. Unless you meant bear call, which is what we just did. Bear call was selling the 17. So, yeah, and we looked at VLO. Yeah, Jose, I know it's PLTR. It's what we were just looking at. But if you're thinking bull call spread, I'm thinking not. Bear call is what we just paper traded here. That's what I'd be more interested in. Bull call is bullish, remember, right? So, yeah, because earlier you were thinking about PLTR for a down play, which I'd agree. Yeah, I'd want to be more bearish on this at this point than bullish. So, all right, perfect, guys. Hey, John, I see your question there on the Iron Condor. For this webinar, we generally just stick with steps 1 through 4 strategies. But yeah, you know, if you know what the Iron Condor is, you know how to trade that. This pattern could work well for that, right? So what you've got written in there, that could work very well. So yeah, just keep an eye on that. All right. Steven says energy had a serious run over the past year, maybe correcting overall. It could. Yeah. Energy has, you know, last year, beginning of last year, moved up significantly. Then it had a major move down. And then energy seems to do that, right? It's either just moving super fast, one up or down, right? So there you have it. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap it up for today. We went a little bit longer today because your guys' participation is just fantastic. Love that. I had a hard time keeping up with all the tickers thrown, but I think we got through it. So, don't want to forget this part. Several of you guys have been mentioning, recession coming. We're seeing the market doing some things that make us think, hey, this could be a more significant move down. And we're seeing this in the AMPS program as well. So we've got a webinar coming as a free webinar next week, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. It's titled Warning, Financial Indicators Point to an Imminent Recession. So go ahead and check out that link if you want to join that free webinar. We're going to be talking about this imminent recession, all the indicators that are pointing to that, and how you can help protect yourself. So there you go. Check out that link. Both YouTube, Facebook should have that for you there. Other than that, we're going to have live trading Thursday next week as well, but I believe someone else will be on next week as I'll be traveling. So I will see you guys again actually in 3 weeks. We'll still have it every Thursday, but there'll be someone else coming in and doing this the next 2 weeks. So I'll see you guys then. Thank you all. Whoops, said that did not end.